Skyhook's brand new album, Guilty Till Proven Insane, Women in Uniform, Life in the Modern World, Trouble with the Computer, Boogie, Twisted Innocence or Twisted Innocence, Hotel Hell, Point in the Distance, Megalomania, and featuring Australia's new national anthem, we think. Why don't you all get...
This album was recorded half in Sydney and half in Melbourne.
More on thirds and two-thirds, actually.
Yeah? How did that come around?
We started putting the basic tracks down in Melbourne at Armstrong Studios, and when we started that particular thing, there'd been a little bit of a hassle up at your lawn, you see, over this thing called SEC, which is the power source of Victoria, and the strikes had been really hitting home, and so after a bit of real quick hassling and getting it together, we ended up coming up to Sydney to do the rest, which is like put the overdubs down, the vocals and harmonies and everything else. We did that at Trafalgar.
Greg, you used Eddie Leonetti as producer.
Well, Michael Gudinski, manager and head of our record company, sort of said, well, what are you going to do for a producer on this album? Because we thought we'd have a change, because Ross Wilson did the previous 3 albums, and we thought, well, the band's changed, and it's a year or so later, and we'd like to try another producer. So really, I just went through my record collection, pulled out some of the records I liked, and gave him a list of guys, because he was going overseas. And I said, that's the main prerequisite was, someone who heard the demos and wanted to do it,
Sure, some bands have a good time in the studio, some bands have a real hard time. What sort of time do Skyhooks have?
Well, the last 3 albums, or the first 3, they were hard times in a lot of ways, because, okay, we weren't experienced, like the first album we made, living in the 70s, it was like, oh wow, man, gee, look at all the pretty coloured lights, and it's thick tape, it's not like that on my cassette player, and, it's a different thing. But then as you get to know it, you sort of realise the stages you go through. But, as far as vibe on an album, this one would have had to take the cake. We've done a lot and spent a lot of hours, and this one we did in 3 weeks, Eddie came out, rehearsed with us, and then when we started recording, and he was recording and getting everything down on tape right up until, an hour before he was due at the airport, so it was it just worked in perfect. It was great.
In cadence, right shoulder up, who? 1, 2, 3, 4. Left shoulder up, who? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Greg, I'd like to ask you a question. Is there any fetishes on this album?
Yeah, there's one big fetish, and that's track 1, side 1, Women in Uniform.
Oh, really? What's a fetish for those people that don't know?
Well, it's sort of like a kink, just something that...
Kink? Is that like a ripple?
No, it's something that sort of gets you excited. Maybe something that's a little weird, but something...
Like a good meal?
Yeah, like a good meal, or...
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Private obsession.
Yeah, right. The Women in Uniform sort of was inspired by Women in Uniform, and I think...
How many times have you been pulled over?
Well, since I got my new car, I've been getting lots of speeding tickets. But
you didn't get rid of the HR, did you?
I did so, but that's got nothing to do with Women in Uniform.
You're getting a discount on your speeding tickets now.
Yeah. You put out this record. You would have. You got a deal happening, haven't you?
Well...
Hey, listen, I'm the guy that wrote Women in Uniform. You can't book me.
Yeah, right.
I've done you a favour.
I'm
put you on the street.
Yeah. Now, this song was made up, obviously, by a number of inspirations, but I think when we were in America, they have lots of security guards in shopping centres and so on, as opposed to policewomen and policemen. They'd have security guards. And I was in a shopping plaza in Atlanta, Georgia, buying some magazines or something, and there was this lady security guard walking past, and she was one of the most amazing looking women I've ever seen. She had a blonde beehive hairdo, and a navy blue uniform, fishnet stockings, and she had a belt with a 45.
45 round the waist?
Yeah, 45
Shit.
pistol,
Oh,
ammunition, and a truncheon, a walkie-talkie, and some handcuffs, and
lipstick.
Lipstick, incredible makeup, and the most amazing sort of swagger as she's sort of patrolled around this shopping centre. Strike fear into the hearts of any hold-up man. So, the concept of women in uniform is, you know, appealed to me. Maybe I'm real weird or something, but it appealed to me.
tell you.
Skyhooks. Guilty until proven insane.
Now this is called Boogie, and this is a song written by Fred Strauchs actually. It's slightly rearranged to what it originally was. His lyric content changed around, and his other message was a bit weird.
It used to be called the businessman's boogie.
Yeah.
It's
There's not many businessmen that really boogie, you know. It didn't really fit, so he changed it around, and actually it's quite a raunchy little song, this one. And one of the interesting things, as far as from my side, as far as singing it, did this one in the garage, which is in Trafalgar Studios. They've sort of got that access section where the truck backs up and you come through the garage to load your equipment into the actual studio. But
They've got a B&D, I think.
yeah, a B&D roller door they had too, and like it was a very warm atmosphere. I felt very much like I was back on the job, you know, like there was timber and hammers lying around and a B&D roller door, and oh mate, it was great, you know.
A Neumann microphone.
Yeah, just stood there facing this wall, you know. It was great. But a real live room. It was like, you know, it was like singing in the shower. It was amazing. But it's the first track that Freddie's ever had on an album, and I reckon it's a howler. Okay, here's Freddie's brand new, his first one ever on an album. Boogie or 12B Boogie.
Skyhooks. Guilty until proven insane.
Bob, you've had a little time with Skyhooks now, and how have Skyhooks changed your lifestyle?
Well, serving time with Skyhooks has definitely changed my lifestyle.
Serving time, eh?
I mean, apart from having cold spinach pie for breakfast these
It was
days.
rather good cold spinach pie. My mother made it. Hello, Mum. She's probably listening to this again. It's been really good. Been in the band for a year now, and it's just changed my way of thinking and playing a lot.
Well, Skyhooks has been the one group of people happening for a number of years now, and then Bob comes in. Does that change the band's outlook on anything when an outsider comes in?
I notice guys' attitudes within the band changing.
How would you know? You didn't know attitudes before you were in the band.
Probably just
I
as
was
well you
going
didn't
around.
either.
Yeah, I think I noticed over the past year. I've noticed the guys' attitudes changing.
Do I love you as much as I loved you like I used to love you before you joined the band? No, he's all right. He just lives beyond his means.
Don't say it. My mother will kill me.
He has got a title within the industry in Australia already. Although he's only been with the band 12 months, he's the most paranoid guitarist in Australia today, amongst different people.
Why is this?
Oh, you know, like they don't know Spencer like we know Spencer. Like
Yeah.
Spencer is a very fast person, you might say. You know, like, and if something's wrong, you know, like if the guitar's got a hum in it, or you know, the amp's crackling or something, like Spencer falls apart. You know? So therefore, the paranoia comes up. You know, like so it's before the gig. It's like, where's my lead? Now you've got that plugged in there, right? Now where's my other guitar? I got to get tuned. Not that one. I haven't finished, and it's like that sort of for the half hour before the show. So by the time we do hit the stage, you know, it's a million miles an hour. You know?
And he's the sort of person that would stay backstage tuning up for like 4 hours, unless you said, Bob, we have to go on stage.
There'd be more sort of discipline playing in this band, wouldn't there? Because the music's so carefully
Yeah,
arranged.
there's a bit more discipline. Like you can't just throw in thousands of licks wherever you want them. But then again, where you have the freedom, it lends itself to being more creative.
Do you have a track on the album that's a special favourite of yours?
No, am I supposed to? Yeah, well, I think I really like Point in the Distance because being a bit egotistical, that's I like the solo.
The solo, right.
Yeah, that's a really classic guitar solo that right at the end there, I think.
It's the longest track on the album too, isn't it? 6, was it around 6.5?
It's a different song for you to sing too, sure.
Yeah, it was. It's really one like on the Australian album. There's like Point in the Distance is on, but on the American one it's not. And like originally it wasn't going to be on the Australian one, but we thought that it was too good a song to just leave in the can at this point in time, and so we rearranged the order to fit it on. because we reckon the song was worth it, and it's very different for what we've done. You know, it's like, okay, all my friends are getting married in sort of one particular vein, but this is a vein somewhere else again. And,
But what really happened with that song was we just played the finished tapes just to a few friends and so on. And they sort of said, "Oh, what's that song?" You know, sort of very out of character in a way. We said, "Oh, well, it's not going to be on the album." You know, they ended up saying, "You're mad. You got to put it on. It's great." You know. And it's got a spoken monologue in it, which is
by a mysterious person we had to get in to do it.
the bass player from Skyhooks, I think it was. But
Pirate voice.
Read a voice.
yeah, I know. I woke up one morning and thought, gee, we should have a song with a monologue in it. I mean, Elvis Presley did it, you know.
Great basis for a song.
Yes, and it's a very chordal song. It's not riffs or anything. It's got lots of open spaces.
It's almost science fiction.
Yeah, right. It was. I describe it as a futuristic love song.
I don't think much of love in the future, mate.
Well, there's always hope.
Skyhooks. Guilty until proven insane. Guilty, insane, insane, guilty.
Blimp, blimp. Blimp, blimp. Yeah! Stop that!
What's going on here? This is supposed to be a multi-million-dollar operation. Spencer, have you got any idea what's happening?
This must be trouble with the computer.
Trouble, trouble, with the computer.
Strange you mention actually, because I went sailing the other day in Sydney, and one of the guys on this particular boat was working for a computer company, and he was telling us all about the whole computer type thing, and it's very weird these days. Like if you work for IBM, it's like a very happy business family type thing. It's, we're going to go out there and we're going to sell $10 million worth of computers this year, and everyone goes rah rah rah, you know, and they all get in there, and it's like, you know, let's all go for a picnic this weekend and we'll sell another $20 million worth of computers. And you know, it's a real crazy business scene. Like a mate of his was in IBM and only lasted 2 weeks because he couldn't hack this. It's like a mechanical sales organisation, you know, like it is like a computer. And the one thing with computers these days is like everyone's sort of getting the computer to do half the work, or, you know, like to cut down on staff and everything else, but like a computer can make, you know, 6 million mistakes in 3.5 seconds if it hasn't got the right person operating it. So it's like it can work the other way. Plus, you know, you pull the plug out of the wall and it's nothing, you know, and it's also, if it breaks down, it's still got to come back to man.
And if it goes wrong, you know, well, then it really gets back to the guy with the pencil and paper who has to work it out. But actually, this album was mixed on a computer mixer at the record plant in Los Angeles.
Break down?
No, we didn't have any trouble with it.
You know, they've got a computer mixer now in Australia.
Yeah.
I don't think they've got anybody to operate
Well, I'll
it.
probably have a few robot musicians soon.
Well, Hotel Hell, see, Eddie Len Eddie is like Alfred Hitchcock in the form of a producer. He appears in sections on the album. You see, in this particular song he appears vocally, and in another song he appears on the keyboards tucked in the mix. You see, so that's his. You know, sure, he's got his name down and saying I'm Eddie Len Eddie and I, you know, produced this record and everything, but he likes to appear in this particular thing.
Have you ever been to a hotel for sure?
Oh, look, I've been to several actually. Did I tell you I bought one?
You bought a hotel?
Yes, I sold it. I lost.
You lost?
Yeah, there's no money in hotels, really.
What do you mean there's no money in hotels? I mean, it's the national pastime.
Is it? Oh, maybe. They didn't have a pastime where I bought this hotel, though.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, you can go down there and play pool, drink, listen to the band.
Yeah, but
drink.
like it can get a bit heavy at hotels. You know, like that one at that particular one has got red walls, and that ain't red paint, mate. Heavy walls, those ones. Concrete.
That song could be pretty much about any suburban hotel too.
Yeah, right. It's a very...
Let me tell you, we did a gig in Sydney, man, on the north side. I have never seen so much broken glass in the history of playing in rock and roll, man, at this pub. It was like unbelievable. Like the guy that ran the room and then the guy that owned the pub said, "You didn't tell me there was going to be this much broken glass." Like, I guarantee everybody that was in there must have smashed at least 2 or 3 glasses each. And like, it was just, the whole floor was like a carpet of broken glass.
Well, that was because there were so many people there, they couldn't be bothered going back to the bar to take the empty glass back. They just drop it, you know. But yeah, that's a very sort of local song, I reckon, because like in Melbourne, all the bands play at hotels, and
In Sydney,
Yeah.
there's a few pubs. Certainly play it.
Yeah, but in Melbourne, like, you know, that's where all the gigs are, and everyone goes to the hotel. And sometimes, you know, they get a bit rough, but there's all sorts of things go on there, you know.
Yeah, in the crowd.
People go to meet chicks and, you know, to show each other their new cars and see the band maybe, and so
Find
it's a
out where
bit-
there's something happening.
But it's sort of about a guy who sort of goes and does all that stuff, and he gets a bit disillusioned. So he says, "Well, next payday, I think I'll stay home instead, you know, and maybe I'll drink a bit of Moselle and lie in the sun." You know?
We also had an appearance by Rhonda
Yeah.
on this particular track. Now, Rhonda's one of the very loyal Skyhooks fans that has been following the band since its inception, and she spent quite a lot of time sitting in the studio front room listening through the closed doors to the sound drifting underneath the carpet.
Yeah, and there's this line come up. There's a line in the song which says, "Some girl came up to me and said, how
How about a chat?
We thought, gee, wouldn't it be? We should get a girl just to say, how about a chat, you know? And like,
It was instant auditions.
Skyhooks never have many girls hanging around, so we were in a real problem, you know. So we thought, what are we going to do? So we walked down to the lobby, and
There's Rhonda.
Rhonda was there. So we said, "Rhonda, you want to be on the album?" And she said, no, I don't want to be on the record. Hotel Hell's got some really nice sax lines which are played by the two guys out of JoJo Zepp, Joe Camilleri and Wilbur Wild.
Wilbur's solo's a stunner. Like,
It's
it was
a classic.
when that was happening. Like, they did all the horn lines, all the back parts right through, and then Wilbur got his chance to have a blow in the solo section. And when that was happening, we were all sitting in the control room with Wilbur cruising out in the studio, and Eddie said, "Woo, this boy's hot!" Wow, you know, like this. It was real great. Wilbur's, but yeah, it's cool. I could do it better, you know. Like I'd like to do that one again. Another interesting thing too is we used the garage again in this particular vocal, and it was weird. Remember when we did this one? I was singing in the garage, and we got halfway through the second verse, and everything was going really well. It sounded real mighty, and then sort of in the middle of this take, we hear this thing like thunder just crashing through everything, and I thought, oh God, here we go, the echo thing's blowing up or something's cracking up. Anyway, I sort of stopped and I said, "Did you hear that?" I said, "Yeah, what was it?" The next minute we hear this voice from the other side of the roller door going, "Shut up, we're trying to get some sleep." It was 3 in the morning, you know, and it'd sound peculiar because I've got headphones on, so there's no backing noise. It ought to be just this voice, you know, thinking, Thursday's beating! It would have been bizarre, you know.
Hotel Hell.
Count her in, Fred.
Skyhooks. Guilty until proven insane.
Life in the modern world.
Well, that started off as a riff, and when I wrote a lot of my tunes, I sort of put rough bits down at home on a tape recorder, and I just had basically just the guitar part of that song on tape, and I played it at rehearsal one day, and the guy said, "Oh, you know, that's a great riff," and I said, "Yeah, but I really haven't got any words for it, and I'm not too happy with it." So I forgot it for a while, and then when it got closer to doing the album, they sort of said, "Oh, what about that thing?" And they, you know, I think Spencer was playing the riff.
It's one of my favourites.
A few times, so I thought, oh gee, I better. Everyone likes it, because what happens quite often is I'll do something which I'll think is great, you know. I'll take the band and I'll say, terrible. Then I'll do something which I think is pretty mediocre, and they'll say, that's great, you know. And so with that song, I went home and I had some lyrics to it, which I weren't too happy because they were really sort of out of my normal sort of character. The lyrics in this song are much more like modern poetry. In actual fact, every line ends with the word line, and it doesn't tell a story. It just throws up a whole lot of images. So I said, oh, well, I'll leave the lyrics just as they are, and we'll rehearse the song. And the demos got sent overseas, and when the producer came over, he said, yeah, I like that song, it's good. I like the words to it. So I thought, oh, must be doing something right. That song is sort of like an extension of, you know, the living in the 70s theme, you know, life in the modern world. And
I'm so glad he said living in the 70s.
And actually, someone remarked that it's got a list of things like cybernetic refrigerators and nuclear power, which they said some of my other songs have got lists of things in them, like Love on the Radio has got lists of products and
But
stuff.
that's life, you know.
Yeah.
That's life in
I
the
never
modern
looked at it
world,
like
mate.
that, but people say to me, oh, you write all these songs with lists of things in them, you know.
Well, it's easy if you've got a
Do
list
I?
to work off.
Yeah, but that's got nice guitar playing. I think the guitar playing was done very quickly on that, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the first thing I did after flying from Sydney. Just went
It's the
to
first
the
vocal
studio
we did
about
too.
2 o'clock in the morning. We played it straight away.
It's a really powerful song, and you've been using it to open brackets in live
Yeah.
performances, haven't you?
Yeah, it's a good one to open with because it's sort of like it sets the pace, you know, just sort of. It's a good opening song. You
Yes, it's really steady and.
know? It's pretty stark too, and it's all solid, but it's not heaps and heaps going on that you can't sort of work out. And it's good for an opening song to have something that people are going to be able to sort of work up into a thicker type.
It's
song.
really good for the band to relax into straight away, so no one gets over sort of excited.
And the reason we've been opening the show with that because it is a new song, people haven't heard it before, and it sort of presents the band in sort of a new way from what they're used to. I think if we started with one of our old tunes, well, they'd immediately say, well,
Here comes Skyhooks again.
Here comes Skyhooks again, but now they sort of, here comes Skyhooks again, but, you know...
I haven't heard that one before.
This is sounding different, you know, which is, I think the band is sounding different to what it did, you know, a couple of years ago.
Skyhooks. Guilty until proven insane.
Twisted Innocence got reggae-fied in the studio somehow, and
Is that recognised?
what?
Reggae?
Reggae-fied.
Is that a beat of some sort?
Yeah, it was, you know, like the Whale, Bob Marley and the Whale is almost Jamaican guy.
But he uses drugs to get that sound.
Well, I don't know what we use. We use our drummer.
Oh, really? Yeah, well, he's something else, isn't he?
Yeah, right. The basic message behind that song sort of says there's no crime in being dumb, you know, and there's a line in it about the taxi driver with a science degree, which
There's a lot of that.
well, I got off the airport on the way back from Sydney, and this guy was driving the taxi, and he, you know, and so on, he was sort of moaning about it, and the line says, well, but that's okay, but, you know, he can daydream while he's driving around, you know, whereas, you know, I have to think of, you know, 10,000 new songs to write and, you know, business hassles and all that sort of stuff. If I was just driving a taxi, well, that's all I'd have to do. I wouldn't have to worry about too much else, you know. Right. And Freddie actually plays steel drums on that, which, ever heard of the Trinidad Steel Band? Mm. The tops of a 44-gallon drum all sort of marked out in little sections, and they all got different notes, which Freddie never seen one before, so he got one, spent a couple of hours banging away, and finally worked out how to play
Put
it.
out in chalk, C, D, E, whatever, and hit them accordingly.
Mm.
Skyhooks. Guilty until proven insane.
The concise Oxford Dictionary defines megalomania as
Insanity of self-exaltation, passion for big things, power crazy!
Yeah, well, megalomania is a word which implies, you know, heaviness, and it's a word which means people who are afflicted by power, you know, power crazy. So I sort of like the contrast of everyone sort of singing, ooh, megalomania, with this really sort of light music behind it, you know.
Actually, it's a John Kerr's theme song, isn't it? He plays it on the throne every time before he goes out on the prowl.
I guess I'm sort of known for songs, you know, with sort of political statements a la whatever happened to the revolution, and this is something in that vein, I guess, you know. As an advice for people who dream of becoming powerful, it sort of says, you know, beware of the poison dart and watch out for, you know, if you're going to become a king, watch out for people stabbing you in the back and so on.
Skyhooks. Guilty until proven insane.
Why Don't You All Get Expletive Deleted is a song which is, you know, for some reason is an instantaneous live smash, because I think it's got quite a catchy chorus.
Yeah, we haven't had a sing-along song in a while.
No, we need it.
As a song, I think the verses deserve the chorus, and people have said to me, oh, it's like the scene in Network where the guy opens the window and says, you know, I'm sick, I'm not going to take it anymore, and all that sort of stuff, and that's more or less what the chorus is sort of about. But like the first verse mentions a kid in school who, you know, tries to work hard, but, you know, the teachers don't appreciate that. Maybe it's a bit backward, and actually I've sort of extended it to the fact where the kid goes back to the playground at night with a spray can and writes all over the wall, and the next verse is about a young girl who's, you know, trying to grow up, and she has problems with her parents, and in the end she gets in a car and just drives away and rings them up and says, you know.
But with a boyfriend. She
Yeah,
went away
right.
with a
But I
boyfriend too.
mean, lots of people who are into that sort of thing.
If you ever run away from home and you're ringing up your parents, it's usually reverse charges. You know what I mean?
And the third verse is about a guy in the army who gets a hard time from his sergeant, and that exactly happened to a friend of mine in Vietnam, which is a rather sad story. But and the last verse sort of recaps everything and says, well, you know, people are getting you down, just don't. You should, you know, say something about it. You know, you don't always have to take it.